Greetings, gamer guys and gals. Welcome to part 22 of my Let's Play Fire Emblem 5 Thracia 776. Shall we move on? Breaking through the enemy's lines, the Liberation Army finally set foot on Imperial soil. Their invasion could now begin in full. However, there was no time to celebrate. Fort Dundrum, widely regarded as an impregnable defense against Thracian incursions, now stood before them. If they could not capture Fort Dundrum, the army would never reach Tara in time. Alrighty, here we are. We're going to go ahead and get ready to deploy. First, let's take care of some items. We have some things that we want to give away to the convoy. I do think it is for the best to trade our items, specifically all of these scrolls, over to Laura. We can trade her every last one, in fact. We're also going to go ahead and give some of these items back to the inventory, because we do not need them at this current moment. We can leave a vulnerary on Nana. I don't think we have any other important or interesting staves we could give her. We could take something like a rapier, though, and I think we shall, for the time being. Whether or not we use that is a whole different story, but why not take it, right? Okay. Karen is looking pretty ready. Alright, Tanya, that's interesting. We could trade her door key over to someone. We're probably going to need that, actually. And we can give the physical away and take a rescue. Don't think we'll need more than 4 physics this chapter, so we're not going to worry about that at this current moment. And we can also give away the stamina drink as well as that rapier. We have quite a lot of interesting and good items, I must say. We could leave a scroll on Lithus, but I don't actually think that that's useful at this current time. Alright, supply. We can take one more scroll. We'll also take a lockpick. The nail scroll looks pretty good for the growths we would like her to have. Laura now has insanity for growths. Hopefully she gains some of those stats, actually. She is going to gain probably luck, skill, HP very, very frequently, but I would like her to get some strength and magic. A reasonable amount. It doesn't have to be much. She has way more defense than I would have assumed she would at this point, which is pretty good. One thing we're going to be doing in this chapter is we're going to be giving over a whole lot of items, specifically door keys, to our units to use. And the reason being, even though we do need door keys for later on in this game, is that we can actually buy some more later. And we will be doing just that. But we need a bunch of units to be able to open up doors. So let's go ahead and take a door key with you. Tanya's not joining us this chapter, so she can go ahead and give one of her door keys away as well. Don't think Karen's going to join us. We can take a door key with Dagdar also. So we are going to want to replenish those, because as I said previously in the Let's Play, you do not want to be without 6 door keys to basically the very end of this game. There's reasons why that is, and there's also ways to mitigate your need for that. But in my humble opinion, I just think it's better to be safe than it is to be sorry. We're going to go ahead and take this Wind Tome and trade, because we would like the Wind Tome to be on the top of our attack list. We can also probably just give away that Thunder Tome. We don't really need that at this current time anymore. I have found that it's pretty well better to not have your units have full inventories, just in case of stealing and thievery and capturing, so on and so forth. It's better to just be able to be a bit more flexible about how you go about your chapters. I think actually, let's see. We're not going to bring Karen. I think it would be better if our mounted units were the ones who had the door keys. We'll see why that is soon enough. So let's do just that. Nana is very close to fatigue, but she should be fine. And I think that's pretty good. We're going to go ahead and gather all the units we need. I don't really think Karen is going to be all that useful for us this chapter. Let's see. Lithus, Laura. Ocean, we can bring Karen. She might not be very necessary. Alright, I think that's about it. And then we can go to the map and also settle where our units need to be. Our mounted units need to be up a little bit more, especially the ones who have the door keys. We will be seeing why that is later, specifically. But I think we're pretty well set here. Let's go ahead and save. And begin. Chapter 11, Fort Dundrum. I've already told you, the enemy appeared out of nowhere to attack Fort Noel. If you don't send reinforcements, General Largo is as good as dead. Just say the word and I'll lead our troops to stomp out those invaders. Please, General Kempf. You claim the enemy appeared out of nowhere to besiege Fort Noel, but who exactly were they? Remind me, what was your assignment again? I'm just a lowly general of House Frege, and these little details escape me all the time. Ah, wait, it's coming back to me. Reconnaissance, wasn't it? But if your duty was reconnaissance, surely you'd come to me with more than, they just appeared. Or are you such an incompetent soldier that you fail to gather even the slightest bit of information? I came here to warn you precisely because there was no time to do anything else. Listen to yourself. You're badgering me for needless details while our borders are under siege. Does it matter who the attackers are? And what if this attack is merely a ploy to lure us away from the fort? Did you consider that girly? Fort Dundrum earned its reputation of being impregnable only because House Frege's 12th Division is here to guard it. Without them, the fort is mere stone and slate. If I don't have complete information on our enemy, I can't chance deploying the 12th Division. It would weaken our position. And what of General Largo? Perhaps sending our troops out is a risk, but he faces certain danger at this very moment. Bah! What's one or two old men in the grand scheme of things? Besides, how much time could he really have left anyway? What? General Kempf, even now you... The glare you're shooting me is almost treasonous on its own. I've had men executed for much less brazen displays of disrespect. So before you back up that glare with equally traitorous words, let me warn you, you're very close to insulting the chain of command. It's amusing watching you squirm, I admit, but are you really willing to defy your superior officer knowing what the Empire does to traitors? Tch. Is that it? You've got quite the mouth on you, but no spine to back up your words.
You're a simple girl who got into Valhalla's military academy only on the prestige of her blood, not the skill of her sword arm. So naive, so oblivious to the way of the world. You're lucky to have a commanding officer as understanding as I. Don't worry, I never expected much of you. I know that your only real weapon is to go begging your brother for help.
What did you just say to me?
Are you hard of hearing? I said that all you're good for is to go crying to Reinhardt.
You.
Oh, how he must dote on you. Then again, Reinhardt's greatest skill is knowing how to lead women on.
Hold your tongue. I'll not stand here and let you dishonor my brother.
Ha! You dare to draw your sword on me, you feeble-minded wench? Men, seize Olwen and throw her in the dungeon for this act of rebellion.
Yes, General. Lady Olwen, in the name of the Empire, you're under arrest. Drop your weapon.
General Kempf, how contemptible.
Ha! That should put that impertinent little girl in her place. And if his own sister is executed for mutiny, Reinhardt will no doubt be stripped of his rank as well. Oh, the look on his face when he hears of this will be quite the spectacle.
General Kempf, explain yourself.
Fred, my dear boy, you look different from your usual self. Is something amiss?
Don't play dumb. Why have you done this to Lady Olwen? It's a violation of our military code to punish a subordinate over a personal grudge like this. You have a responsibility to overturn this. Please, sir, release her at once. Otherwise, I have no choice but to report this matter to Princess Ishtar.
Personal grudge? Nonsense. Right where you're standing, Lady Olwen drew her sword against me. Her superior officer. She meant to kill me.
What? That's not possible. She would never.
Fred, since you're so well acquainted with our military code, what's the punishment for turning your sword against a superior officer? Because I seem to recall that it's a crime punishable by execution.
So that's your goal, is it? Your cowardice knows no bounds.
Be that as it may, as Olwen's adjutant, her duties now fall to you. I command you to ride forth and engage these invaders in her place. But be warned, this isn't merely an order, it's a punishment. You are not permitted to retreat for any reason. See the battle through, regardless of the outcome, or I'll have Olwen executed.
Kempf, you're shameless.
Did you say something? Must have just been my imagination.
Alrighty, so beginning this chapter, Chapter 11, Fort Dundrum, it is a very interesting one. There's a bit of a side objective here and there. For one, we have to deal with Fred. We saw him last chapter riding out with Olwen with his lightning sword in hand, ready to attack us. And he's not going to be an easy target to fight. We do have a bunch of armor knights here. They act very strangely. They're basically given a random movement AI to move in any random direction, specifically so that you are lured into coming in this area and attacking them, as well as that we also have a chest here we definitely want to get. The door keys are going to be useful for a later point in this chapter, and we have to be very careful, because not only if we do a certain action, if we have Leaf enter this square here where Fred is, we actually get two ballista that spawn pretty well near here, one above each one of these stairs, that will just shoot on all of your units. It is not fun, let me mind you. We also have to deal with General Kempf. He is a mage knight, unmounted, and he cannot mount in this chapter. But he does have a master sword, which is mighty strong. This is our first instance of seeing a master weapon in action. And that is an interesting one. It's a brave weapon with basically a little bit of crit, a little bit less hit than a brave weapon. They're the highest level of weapons for all of the tiers are master weapons for all of the like sword, lance, axe, bow. And then he also has Thoron, which is one of the strongest thunder magics in this entire game. It has high critical hit rate and is mighty strong. Very effective. It's kind of funny that he comes with a venom edge. It's almost like they're trying to say that Kempf is this poisonous, toxic man, and he really is. He has a follow-up critical modifier of 2, so that Thoron crit is actually going to come into effect. Be very careful of that matter. He does have 2 vulneraries, which is intriguing. And he has 3 authority stars and 1 vigor star. So he has a 5% chance to move again. 3 authority stars means that he's giving all of the units on this chapter, including himself, a 9% hit and avoid, all those that are affiliated with the 12th Division, which I believe is all the enemies. He also comes with Anchor and Miracle Plus. He cannot be killed, and the turn after he is attacked, he will just warp out of here. As we see with how he dealt with Olwen and Fred, he is quite the coward. Now over here, we have Killer Bows. I do intend on capturing both of these because you don't very much get a lot of Killer Bows, and it's better to capture them when you can. Alright, so with that being said, we need to move our units up. Our mounted units have the most trouble moving through these kinds of spaces, so you do have to be careful of that. Let's see. We can go right here. Now, Karen's not going to be all that useful concerning this chapter. Neither is Salfina, being honest, because of the way this chapter is set up. Let's see. A thicket. Alright, let's move Leaf up. And Asbel, I halfway want to dismount Fergus because I think he would suffer less movement penalties going through this area. Safi doesn't really need to join the main part of our group, so she's going to stay back as much as she possibly can, and the rest of our units are just going to move up, push through this thicket.
What's this? The enemy flies the banner of House Leonster? Are they being led by a boy? Why, he can't be more than 14 or 15. I've got swords that are older than him. Ah, I see. That must be the wayward Prince Leaf. First Olwen, and now Prince Leaf marches right up to my doorstep. The gods are most generous today. This is my chance. All hands, hear me. I've a plan for just such an occasion as this, but for it to work, you must lure the enemy inside, and don't be too obvious about it. Prepare to launch Operation Portcullis.
Alright, so these soldiers and archers down here will come out and attack you preferably, whereas the armor knights will just keep moving around. They will only attack you if you move within their range. Leaf is perfectly adept with being able to deal with any of these soldiers at this current time. They are quite weak, actually. The armor knights are a little bit of a different story, but we'll deal with them just fine also. Alright, so let's blast away. It might seem silly to waste wind, a tome that I have said is very useful and also very hard to come across, especially early game, but we absolutely want Asbel to be at an A rank wind, so it's going to take us a while to do that. In my humble opinion, it's one of the more necessary things that you would want to do in this game specifically. Alright, she took him out with one hit of that good old weapon. And we should be able to capture you. Perfect. And let's see what we can do here. We're not going to be able to capture this guy, but we might be able to if we do some damage first. So let's see. 15 times 2, that's too much damage. 9 times 2, that's not enough damage. We can try. Alright. Only doing 5 times 2. That's actually kind of unfortunate there. We're definitely not going to be able to do anything capture-wise with that. Let's put Ocean here. Definitely want the units we're going to be taking further up better. These archers do not have... Let's see, she's got a C rank and sword, so we don't really need her to get any more of that. I almost want to just attack this guy, because the problem is if we do not successfully capture it. Now, there is a chance we could here, using the short lance, even though we're only doing 5 damage times 2. We could crit. It's not likely. I kind of wish that Fergus was in the way here. But I almost just want to KO this guy. Capturing just one of the killer bows isn't as helpful as capturing both, but I almost want to say that leaving this guy alone is going to be a very huge danger for whoever he attacks next turn. So we're just going to go ahead and finish him off. And I think that's perfectly fine. We're going to go ahead and move on to next turn. It's funny that they're coming after Leaf instead of going after, like, Finn. And it's just specifically because even with a captured unit, Finn is still mightily stronger than Leaf with that Brave Lance. Quite the impressive weapon. All right. Throw a javelin. Take you out with Karen. And we're also going to start moving up with our units. Some of these units do actually have door keys, which would be nice to have. We could steal a door key, but the problem is we don't have any inventory slots. Yeah, quite a few of the units do have door keys, which is a good thing to grab if you can. So let's go ahead and do just that. Capture with the Armor Slayer. With a Karen support, that's going to be very helpful. And we can even trade and get these weapons over here. We don't really care about the Venom Lance because reality is all it does is turn into an Iron Lance in our inventory. Very intriguing that is the case, but it was almost like the game is afraid, in my opinion, of giving you any kind of poison weapon. I'm not too sure why that would be, because it's not like that big of a deal. Poison weapons are not really all that strong in this game. I'm supposing it has some funky potentialities that it can cause. And that's the only thing that can make me question as to why they would do that. Well, the only thing we can do here is we could capture, but we're not going to be doing enough damage. Now, we do have to worry about this bishop healing any of the units, so we don't want to leave them on low health either. He has a javelin, so he's most likely not going to attack Fergus up close, which is good. That being said, we're just going to have to keep on moving forward. This chapter takes a while just because of the startup, and it's kind of unfortunate that that's the case, but it's not that big a deal. This chapter is actually really easy to deal with if you do take some dorkies into said chapter. Now, one thing you don't have to worry about is you don't have to worry about Fred up there attacking you unless you get within his range. So as long as you don't get within his attack range, you're totally fine. And that's all for the enemy's turn. And another door key. We would like to have that. Perfect. Karen could do some trading here. Take the javelin, the door key. We're gonna give away some of this stuff real quick. You can have another vulnerary for the time being. And we do want that door key. We're gonna take and release. And move out of the way. One thing you do want to keep in mind is, as long as you do not put Leaf within this square area, well, rectangular area around Fred, you don't have to worry about any strange things happening. You do want that to happen at some point, but right now we do not. Oh, awesome. Let's go ahead and attack some more. And Laura and Lithus are going to be very well needed. I think we are doing a pretty fine job, in my opinion, about what we need to do here. Some of our units we will have to move back later on in this chapter when it turns out that the Portcullis attack is taken. Yeah, getting rid of all of these knights is just better for your health. Yep, Laura is getting attacked. We did want some extra experience points on her, which is pretty awesome. We're going to be trying to give her quite a lot of experience points this chapter. Especially because we don't need her the next chapter. We wouldn't mind bringing her the next chapter and then letting her sit out the chapter afterwards. So you have to allow the Portcullis attack to occur and something else to happen in order for you to get the guidance for next chapter. So we're going to be trying our hardest to do just that. We do have one more door key we could get, and I think it's a smart idea to do just that. Let's move you right here and smack you with some rapier. Alright, a little bit of damage done. That's very nice. Weapon level increased, so now we're at B rank. We want A rank. A rank is very important for wind magic. Alright, so... One magic. Very interesting, Fergus. Very interesting level indeed. So what we want to do is we want to put everybody in such a manner that we're going to be close by over the next turn or two. So let's go ahead and dismount. One of the many reasons why we brought Karen's swords with her. She's going to be dismounting with Fergus soon. And then we can move our units. I think Finn, Fergus, and Nana, or no, Karen. They have door keys, but Nana has a door key as well. We have plenty of door keys. We're going to be using as many of those as we possibly can to get things open. Dagdar can stay up here in case I need him to lure away the ballista that will be coming out. Otherwise, I think we are set for our next turns.
You turn your blade on me in this situation? What idiocy!
Alright, some extra experience points for Laura. That's exactly what we want, is some good old experience points. Alright, so we can move up a couple of our units. We can even attack with Ocean here. And I think that's going to be it for this episode. I want to thank you for joining me. If you like my content, please upvote and follow, or like and subscribe depending on your platform, and while you're at it, have a great and glorious day gaming.